the suspicion is on from my point of view, which it has been for many episodes, and now from a lot of the characters within the series, really starting to question some things. What exactly it is that they're operating, what exactly these Avas are, who they're working for, what they're doing, like what the purpose is. Well, all the stuff that people are hiding. Some people, like Masato, really starting to clue into a lot of things. Others are really just starting to question it and be a little concerned about what the hell's going on here. And I'm assuming Shinji and plenty of others are going to have plenty of questions, especially him, about what he encountered last time with seeing this vision, this spirit almost of his mother, and what that whole thing was about. Hopefully he gets a little bit into that and starts really thinking about it. We have some good stuff where he was really in his own head, talking to himself and figuring out a whole bunch of things about perception and the way others that see him and ways that he sees himself, and how he's just been kind of carrying out his own life up to this point. So I wouldn't put past him to really start reflecting on the situation either, as he gets deeper and deeper into thought, and he spirals a little bit more out of control. It seems like a lot of these visions and things that are going to slowly possibly start coming to him as he clues in as well on a bunch of the things that are occurring. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like it all, like and subscribe. You may not to me, feel free to stick around for the discussion, limited comments with this episode or this series. Let's get going with episode 17. Valid excuse, nice.
彼の記憶が正しいとすればな。
記憶の外的操作は認められませんが。
エヴァの AC レコーダーは作動していなかった。確認は取れまい。
使徒は人間の精神、心に興味を持ったのかね。
その返答はできかねます。果たして使徒に心の概念があるのか、人間の思考が理解できるのか、全く不明ですから。
Yeah.
人同士の組織的なつながりは否定されます。
あよ、単独行動であることは明らかだ。これまではな。
それはどういうこと
I don't know about all that.
質問は許されない。
We're asking the question.
下がりたまえ。
はい。
Huh.
身につき始めています。残された時間は
あとわずかということか。
The fourth individual. We're getting a new member.
今時珍しいわね、あんな男の子。
学校はどうだ？
問題ありません。
そうか。
It's just normal, You fitting in well,
鈴原。
はいはい。
後で綾波にプリントを届けておくように。
はい。
Why him? Why they single him out? I feel like everybody else would be better.
消滅？確かに第二支部が消滅したんだな。はい、
すべて。
It just went away.
エヴァンゲリオン4号機並びに半径89キロ以内の関連研究施設はすべて消滅しました。
人間も道連れにね。
That's not a good sign.
ドイツで修復した S2 機関の搭載実験中の事故と思われます。
爆発ではなく消滅なんでしょ？つまり消えたと。
多分リラックの海に飲み込まれたんでしょうね。さっきの初号機みたく。じゃあせっかく直した S2 機関も？パーよ。夢はついえたわね。よくわからないものを無理して使うからよ。それはエヴァも同じだわ。第一支部までは失いたくないみたいね。
This one comes from the US.
あっちが建造権を主張して強引に作っていたんじゃない。今更危ないところだけうちに押し付けるなんて虫のいい話ね。例のダミーを使うのかしら。これから決めるわ。試作されたダミープラグです。例のパーソナルが移植されています。
So that's what we were doing when we were creating it.
あくまでフェイク、疑似的なものです。パイロットの思考の真似をする、ただの機械です。
信号パターンをエヴァに送り込む。エヴァがそこにパイロットがいると思い込み、シンクロさえすればいい。初号機と2号機のデータを入れておき、テストパイロットは
ダミープラグはまだ危険です。現候補者の中から
4人目を選ぶか。
はい。一人速やかにコアの準備が可能な子供がいます。
That's the insane thing to just say.
上がっていいぞ。
We've synced you, brother. You're good.
食事にしよう。
What a look. So if I'm understanding it correct, we're using the fourth child that we're attempting to go after and get here now, the one who likely would pilot Unit 3, to be the test basically for this.
お弁当持ってきてないの？昨日は宿題で作 暇なかったんだよ。だからってこの私にお昼なしで過ごせってのあんたは。
Oh, you make your lunch for it too? Yeah. Yeah, tell them about the other thing you guys did too. Tell them about that. They won't believe it.
松代での3号機の起動実験。テストパイロットは4人目を使うわよ。4人目？
Hmm.
フォースチルドレンが見つかったの。昨日ね。マルドゥック機関からの報告は受けてないわ。
Yeah, they keep you at the loop about everything.
また私に確信を。
Absolutely. You know how hard it probably is to work when you know that somebody else is hiding things from you and you have to act like they're not. Ugh.
よりにもよってこの子なの。仕方ないわよ。候補者を集めて保護してあるのだから。話しづらいわね、このこと。アスカはいいのよ。エヴァーに乗ってることにプライドかけてるから。レイは例外としてもね。いいことないもの。私たちとエヴァーに関わったって。それを一番よく知ってるのがシンジ君だものね。これ以上辛い思いはさせたくないわ。でも私たちにはそういう子供たちが必要なのよ。みんなで生き残る。
Okay, what's so special about this person though? Or so bad about them? Why are we just skating around it? Just tell me.
今日から終盤なんだからちゃんとやりなさいよ。
何のことや。
プリント届けてくれって先生が言ったでしょ。
Okay, so the one who's on duty has to do it.
綾波さんは今日休み。
綾波とわしなんか。そらしゃあないな。でも女の家に一人じゃ行けへんしな。
それなら私が一緒に。
シンジ。
So just bring another guy with me, you know? Aw. Should have just spoken up and said you wanted to do it.
綾波、入るよ。
Not again.
部屋に黙って入るんは。
Yeah, we had an incident the last time. Uh-oh.
ここに入れても見ないだけだし。
Uh-oh. Not again.
なんや。これが女の部屋かいな。不愛想やな。
Yeah, she is all different though. What are all those for? Yeah, just leave it and go. No incident like last time. Don't snoop around. No, just go. Just go.
まあ、勝手にいじって叱られるで。
片付けてるだけだ
No, I don't think she would care. As long as it's not important to her. Like the glasses.
男のすることやない。
うん。でも美里さんに嫌われるよ、そういうの。
かばへん。わしの信念やからな。
Hold strong, brother. Hold strong.
変わったな。
何が？
シンジや。正直いけすかんやっちゃと思うとったけど、人のために何かやるやつとも思えんかったし。
See, I've always gotten the vibe that he would just be pushed around by others and do things, no problem. She home?
お邪魔しとるで。
何？
あれが溜まってたプリントや。
勝手に片付けたよ。ゴミ以外は触ってない。ありがとう。
What a reaction. That's like the Ray highlights, you know? You get one of those every like 4 episodes and everybody becomes content with it.
ありがとう。感謝の言葉。
Mm-hmm.
初めての言葉。
Progress for you. Change.
あの人にも言ったことなかったのに。
Maybe you shouldn't be thankful to him though. I mean, we don't know. We gotta wait and learn and see if the things I'm guessing are correct. But if they are, maybe we shouldn't.
かつて楽園を追い出され、死と隣り合わせの地上という世界に逃げるしかなかった人類。その最も弱い生物が弱さゆえ手に入れた知恵で作り出した自分たちの楽園だよ。
自分を死の恐怖から守るため、自分の快楽を満足させるために自分たちで作った。
You trample upon others to create the paradise for yourself.
自分たちを守る武装された町だ。
敵だらけの外界から逃げ込んでる臆病者の町さ。
ネルフの偽装迎撃要塞都市、遅れに遅れていた第7次建設も終わる。いよいよ完成だな。
S2 機関もサンプルは失ってもドイツにデータが残っている。ここと初号機が残っていれば十分だ。
しかし、委員会は結相を書いていたぞ。
予定外の事故だからな。
Yeah, I mean they're kind of big on that.
視界文書にない事件も起こる。老人にはいい薬だよ。
Alright. Alright, I'll keep note of that.
君はどうなのかない
いんですか梶さん。桂木さんや鍵先輩いますよ。
その前にその口を塞
Alright,
お仕
buddy.
事進んでる？
ぐ。いや、ぼちぼちだな。
この非常時にうちの若い子に手出さないでくれる？
君の管轄ではないだろう。桂木ならいいのかい？
No.
からの返事次第ね。地下のアダムとマルドゥック機関の秘密知ってるんでしょ？
はって、
とぼ
What
け
do you
ない
mean by secrets?
他人に頼るとは君らしくないな。マルドゥック機関は存在しない。影で操っているのはネルフそのものさ。
ネルフそのもの。
I meant look at the board members, yeah.
707を調べてみるんだな。
707。シンジ君の学校？
美里さん、
何？
律子さんが。
How quick they are to move.
たまにはどうだ？お茶でも。
僕、男ですよ。
Yeah, he's. That's awesome.
そんな人だと思ってました。
安心してる相手だと遠慮がないな。怒り真司君。一ついいものを君に見せよ
What? Oh, alright, a watermelon.
かですか。
う。
Hmm.
ああ、可愛いだろ。俺の趣味さ。何かを育てるのはいいぞ。いろんなことが見えるし分かってくる。
Mm-hmm.
楽しいこととかな。
辛いこともでしょ
辛いのは嫌いか？
う。
Sometimes.
じゃないです。
楽しいことを見つけたかい？それもいいさ。けど、辛いことを知ってる人間の方がそれだけ人に優しくできる。それは弱さとは違うからな。
シンジ君のシンクロ率が落ちてきている。どういうこと？何かがあったんでしょうね。精神的なものが。ますます3号機のパイロット、話しづらいわね。でも、本人には明日正式に通達されるわよ。
I'm not getting right now what the whole concern and holdup is about introducing another one for him while we think all the others are going to be okay and content with the idea, but he's going to like, it's going to be weird for him? I don't know.
鈴原当時入ります。
鈴原、当時君。
Are they saying that he's the one?
本当に聞いてないよ。
松代の第二実験場で起動試験をやるって噂知らないのか？
知らないよ。
パイロットはまだ決まってないんだろ。
わからないよ、そんなの。
They don't give me in the
俺
loop.
にやらせてくんないかな、美里さん。
Oh, sorry, buddy.
頼んでくれよ。乗りたいんだよ、エヴァーに。
It's getting a little too late for
知ら
that.
ないんだよ。
じゃあ4号機が欠番になったって話は？
he's really not in the loop. How do you know so much, dude?
ってパパのところは大騒ぎだったみたいだぜ。
Hmm.
本当に
おそらくは。
美里さんからは何も聞いてない。
So just as they're keeping them at the loop, you're being kept at the loop with things too. They're doing it to protect you.
シンジにはさ。すまなかったな。変なこと聞いて。しかし、当時のやつ遅い
Yeah, I wonder why.
すまんです。
話は聞いてる。席に着きなさい。
I wonder how he takes that as well with the fact that he blamed all this stuff directly on the result of like what happened with his sister. I'd assume he'd be more energetic about wanting to do it because he can prevent that from happening. Unless that's not what happened and they informed him about bad info regarding his sister and that's making him down right now.
鈴原、終盤なんだから鈴原っていつも購買部のお弁当だね。
作ってくれるやつもおらん。
私、兄弟が2人いてね。名前は児玉とのぞみ。いつもお弁当私が作ってるんだけど。
そら難儀やな。
Mm.
だから、こう見えても私、意外と料理うまかったりする。
Alright, so what are you getting at?
だから私、いつもお弁当の
There you go.
そらもったい。
Alright, you don't want it to go to waste, do you?
いくらでも手伝うで。
手伝って。梶さん。
Her face when she opened that door.
美里には合ってるくせに。
Mmm.
こら、今はダメだ。
4人？何これ？どういうこと？フォースチルドレンがなんでこいつなの？いや、わかんないわ。なんなのこれ？
The transport and the boy? Oh no. I thought that was Adam for a second because it looked like the straight up cross that we had him on before. I thought that was the case. Okay, so we're leaning heavy into Toji being it, but the real anger that everyone's having, or like dissatisfaction with it, is what I don't think I'm latching onto right now. I'll have to think about why, maybe. Oh, this is a funky version. What is this? Definitely a weird one. I think it leaves you with some weird, I don't know. I feel weird after watching it. It definitely has a more like somber kind of vibe to the entire thing, but also it creates this feeling of like we're really going to start building towards something. Not that we haven't, but like they spend a lot of time just conversations between people without actually explaining what things are, like between people who know, if that makes sense, like Gendo and the vice commander and stuff. Like they know each other, they know what each other are talking about, so they're talking as if like they fully understand, while the viewer has no idea, and we have to kind of just listen in on the things that they're talking about and try and figure out all that relates and what exactly all that stuff is. And it leaves you like really, like it has this nice little mysterious feeling to it, I would say. Well, the rest of the episodes, and especially all the moments that we end up getting within the school and everything, lead you to, and the focus on Toji and stuff there, have more of that somber and like weird feeling to it, that you're just sitting around and wondering like, are we being misled in this situation? Because the fourth child being introduced here seems entirely likely that they are choosing it to be him. And that would make a lot of sense. And it also leaves me really wondering, is it like a bait? Are they just trying to like really make you feel this way? Make you feel like he's the one that they're choosing, when in reality it's somebody else entirely? I don't know. I don't believe so, because it's one of those things where like it feels too obvious that like you feel like they have to like pull it out from under you and go a different direction, as like you can't just hint at it this hard. But at the same time, why not, right? Because then you get everybody like me thinking like, are they being, is this actually a thing, and like really starting to think like, could we go other ways, and trying to speculate on that, when in reality they're just actually going that really intended way. Would make plenty of sense. And now that I'm thinking about it a lot more, I think it makes a lot of sense. The reaction of not wanting to tell this to Shinji, the reaction of not, or Asuka's reaction to finding out who it is, right? Because assuming all of this is Toji, she's not had the greatest time with him either, based on like the names and everything that he kind of calls her in those situations. Shinji is having his scores and everything kind of drop, but you're assuming that they're going to end up rapidly increasing as a result of him coming here, because I'm assuming the scores and everything that they are testing for here have certain things to do with like instability, and Shinji becoming a bit more like realized in what it is that he's kind of going through and doing, as a result, is kind of shoring him up as a person a little bit more in his confidence, and it's making it a little bit more difficult for them to like fully sync with him. Because I don't know, I have this weird feeling that the synchronization almost that we're trying to go through is easy, because all these characters are kind of like flawed or broken in a way. Like Rei, it's easy because she's kind of this empty shell of a being, so it's easy to kind of like mentally get into her. And somebody like Asuka seems to have like a pretty tragic backstory at some point. I mean, crying out in her sleep literally over things like this that we have no clue about. It would also make sense. It's like if you were to like almost possess somebody or do something along those lines. It's easier to kind of break into them due to the instability within them. And the vulnerability that they kind of have. It's like a lot easier to like tap in and break into that, versus somebody who's a lot more like mentally solid with themselves. And Shinji kind of being a little bit more broken of that will come as a result of just having to implement one of his friends who he's trying to protect and keep out of harm's way here, and put him into this. And it would also make sense having somebody like Toji possibly be one, because his synchronization would probably be good due to his instability and his just having to, day-to-day struggles that we get to see presented here, right? Not being able to eat lunch, right? Not being able to have time or anything to go out of his way and make it, and all these things. Top of that, dealing with the fact of like the things that happened with his sister and everything before, so he has like a lot weighing on his mind that forces him to not be as solid, I guess, as he probably should be. And maybe that's like a reach and an overread on certain aspects to me, but for whatever reason I'm feeling like that might be some sort of way that allows them to kind of do this. And Masato covering for Shinji here, but also getting tested. So this entire sequence just seems that they are trying to figure out the situation of what happened due to us altering or kind of going off path a little bit from what the scrolls ended up saying, as Gendo ends up telling us later, which is like kind of this hint towards everybody else that's involved in I believe the UN in the situation, that things aren't going to go exactly as planned, and they need to be kind of alert of that and aware of that things can possibly change. And he seems to be very well aware of all the things that are coming and what's happening, which we're assuming is because he's kind of on the other side of that. But they are definitely like not certain what's going on, and then all these things that they are under the assumption should be going on and probably have been, they have to really start questioning somebody, which is why she steps in Shinji's place here, because anything that could have gone on within him mentally, she's trying to protect him from exposing to them, because further testing and a bunch of other things are probably going to likely go on as a result that she's trying to be used as somebody who protects him from that, would be my assumption, you know, stating that there is no tampering or anything with his memory and nothing like that happened. And right now he's not at a state where he mentally can kind of come and talk to them himself, so he has to kind of go out of his way and do, or she has to go out of her way and do it for them. A slight beginning here where you get to see Toji end up walking in and he goes sees his sister, a little bit more hint towards, I guess, what possibly could be to come here, and the things that he's kind of fighting for, the things that he has on the line, and the stakes that he has within this, of why you don't really want him to be the one piloting this, right? Trying to give you a little bit more purpose of, or reasons for understanding that his life has a lot of meaning to it. He has people that he cares for and he's trying to stay alive and he's trying to be there for. So we have to be a little bit more cautious of that. Then we find out that this other base that they have within the US here, who is the ones who willingly went out of their way and stated that they wanted to be a part of the construction, and actually the ones constructing of Unit 3 and 4, and then all of a sudden one of the bases and Unit 4 just vanished out of absolutely nowhere. Similar situation to the previous angel that we ended up going against, that had the shadow thing that kind of sucked everything underneath and allowing vanishment to happen. It's not explosion, it's not destroying in any sort of way, it literally just vanished entirely. And what all that can mean, I have zero idea, but it is really interesting to note. I mean, maybe it didn't though. It literally could have just been something where they up and moved everything and they have their own kind of things, and possibly somebody like Gendo is a part of this and he's trying to hide things from a variety of other people, and these are ways for them to do that. But I'm assuming if like not just bases but facilities and other things are likely a part of it, would be my guess. Like it creates things to be a little bit weird here, how you're able to just move everything so simple like that. We do a really good job at continuously developing real tension between Masato and Ritsuko here, which is awesome. You can see, you know, the dissatisfaction almost that Masato's having of being kind of kept out the loop and lied to, and willingly like realizing that she's getting lied to by this person, but still trying to put up with them and work side by side, which is not an easy thing to do at all. You know, imagine knowing something about somebody else, or not knowing something, but knowing that somebody's hiding something from you, and you have to kind of, you know, walk around that and act as though everything's kind of okay without really exposing anything or exposing too much, and you have to still work as though everything's completely normal together. There is absolutely insane. We end up talking here about the dummies and everything that they're trying to create here, so I'm not completely certain, I guess, what exactly they're trying to do here, but it almost to me is feeling like still they're trying to create these things that you can put in place of the actual pilots. So it's similar, it feels like, to what we kind of did with Rey, or what my assumption is of what we've done with Rey, and taking like these empty shells of people, but the shells and things that we're going to kind of use are these artificially created ones, as opposed to actually taking like this version of real person probably, and this artificial kind of version of somebody that they end up creating that can act as a pilot, that you can then implement the souls of like others or personalities of others, and like upload in all these information to create these artificial beings that can sync easily with the actual Avas themselves, through all the info and everything that we upload from, like, say, Rey or like a bunch of the others, through the information and stuff that we get from the testing, and we can create all of that and like basically create like a code that we can upload to them that allows them to feel like they're being synced properly with the Ava, which would like make sense if we're going off the idea that Avas actually have like these souls within them of people, because all of that would connect with this empty shell that they have. And if that isn't the case, but they're just made up of like a makeup of human like parts kind of, that would also make sense, because it's a synchronization kind of between the two again that would work. So I'm feeling like that's more so what they're doing, and it's a way that that allows them to not have to rely on the children and not rely on the constant fluctuations and everything that they have within their own abilities and their instabilities and stuff, so that they can have something that they have like these like set like numbers at, and none of that stuff is going to kind of fluctuate. And it would be a little bit safer too, because then they wouldn't have to go out of their way and actually find like chosen people, and if people die they can just create new ones and go through a bunch of that stuff. We end up calling out Asuka and Shinji for acting like a married couple, which is really funny. More and more tension building between the two. What are you hiding from me? You know, and then talking about how each of them would kind of act. Nothing good comes from being involved with us or Ava's. Talking about the idea of how the others probably wouldn't have too much of an issue with it, but somebody like Shinji might. And it's like really concerning to kind of think about why. We start building a little bit of a relationship, it seems like, between these. Something that they're trying to build up, which is what gets me the most scared, assuming that Toji's actually going to be pilot of 4 here, right? There's so many like death flags that are immediately being raised within this situation. Just like that weird feeling that you get watching the episode, and just like his own mental like process of trying to comprehend what he's kind of gonna end up having to go through here. The thought of him having to leave somebody like his sister behind, but fighting for that so that he can actually get back to her. It's like a scary thing for us to have, a reason for us to take somebody who you end up building up as like this friend and somebody close to Shinji, and you end up tearing them down and taking them away. And then you introduce somebody else like his like this other girl, right? And you introduce her as like maybe this romantic interest in this thing that he could have, that this promise almost that they make of like, oh, I can make this for you, I can do this, can get torn away instantly through like a negative or something that actually happens while we're in battle together. I mean, just the meaning of what number 4 as the 4th child would actually be in Japanese and everything too. It's just like so many things immediately just scream death to me that like it's not looking good for the boy, which is kind of a bit unfortunate for us to have. We end up going to Ray's place, a complete mess as always. Actually, it's not that bad, but it is a little bit of a mess, and housewife Shinji of course has to end up cleaning this up for them. Little notice of, you know, how Shinji's kind of evolved and how somebody else can see that slight like change in this person, the growth, right? And that's what we end up getting to see. And it's the same thing that they're doing such an excellent job, I feel like, between all the characters, they're kind of doing if really starting them out a certain way, and then or starting a relationship between like multiple people out and evolving that over time. And I think it's going pretty well. Ray ends up coming back and kind of gets a little bit, you know, like the blush, look at her, over Shinji actually helping and cleaning up and everything. And she's able to say thank you to him, which is a complete first for her, something that she's never actually said, which to me would just showcase that nobody's ever done things for her that she feels like she would probably have to, you know, thank them for. But at the same time, she's probably never done anything that even requires that either. So she's uncertain how to like process these emotions and feelings and stuff and what to do in that situation. Talk about the paradise and everything that we've kind of created here. We protect ourselves from the fear of death. You're essentially kind of running away by creating that, but in order to create your own paradise, you have to kind of trample on others along the path to get there. It's kind of crazy of a thought. The cowards do live longer. Yeah, I mean, that's what we are, right? City of cowards fleeing from the outside world, right? Closing yourself in, building up all these walls and these things around you so nobody else can get in, and the world on the outside is just filled with constant enemies, and we're trying to protect ourselves. We're creating like this camouflage thing and everything too, I'm assuming, to blend ourselves, but that's probably not going to matter at all come angels becoming smarter and smarter, of the evolution that we're seeing of them over time. That's going to ultimately kind of get to a point that probably won't be too good for us here. Kaji doing his normal things, of course, and gets caught by Masato. It's definitely like it just holds true, I guess, to like him as a person and the way that he acts. Even with his relationship like slowly getting better over time here with Masato, he's still gonna hold true to who he actually is at the heart. It kind of seems like she presses him a little bit about information with the 4th child and a whole bunch of other things until Kaji starts pulling some info, right? Letting us know about this institution not actually being a real thing. I'm assuming that's the institution, right, that's out of their way, like kind of conducting these things and finding the children and doing all the stuff for them, but it's actually Nerve, the one who's doing it, the one who's kind of in charge of the creation of a lot of these things, the school itself, the one running behind that. And I believe that's the same thing that we saw Kaji end up finding out and looking into when he sees the names on like the board of like directors or whatever it kind of is, that was in that pamphlet when he was talking to that lady. I believe, unless that was an entirely different thing, But he ends up finding out about this and kind of spilling that, which ends up just showcasing you that Nerve is the one who's basically handpicking all these people. And that's why, like, they're not just coming out of thin air or nowhere. It's like we're creating this breeding ground almost of like what this place is at school, right? This camp that we basically have. I mean, we haven't seen any other kids from other grades and stuff within it either. But it just seems like it's this place that's perfect for the exact age group and like same type of people that we need to be involved in this situation. And they're kind of trapping them by having them in there, and then they're picking and choosing who exactly it is that they need. Well, that doesn't actually make the most sense, I guess, because Asuka never enrolled there before, and she ended up being somebody that we ended up getting for it. But I guess that they could all just be being used as like test pilots for it, as we end up finding out that Toji's actually the test pilot. It seems like they were trying to use to figure out if these things are working. So you're assuming either a bad angel attack occurs or a negative thing occurs within this testing on him, and it's end up going to result in probably a death there. The little talk between these two is fun. Finding out, you know, making something, it's a really great thing, and it's what you can find enjoyable. Asking him about suffering and how that makes him feel. It's like, yeah, you don't like it, you know, one of those things where like it's not good. You don't want to at all. You definitely don't want to. But that little bit of suffering, it makes the outcome of like the positives and the things that come out of it almost feel so much better and so much more grand. That maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. Knowledge of suffering makes you all the more capable of kindness to others. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, definitely. Him also not having an answer to respond back with of asking if he has like a purpose or like a thing that makes him like happy or like a hobby or thing that like, he enjoys. Like that's all right, buddy. You'll figure it out lately. Like, but he did find that thing, if we're being honest, or he believes he did, but still questioning that or not knowing and being able to open up to anybody. Having our conversation here, finding out Shinji knows absolutely nothing about what's going on, just really hammering that in so much more. No Toji in class still ends up showing up late, of course, all alone still, doesn't really know. It seems like he's just isolated himself, and he's losing it at this point. He doesn't know what to do, you know, suffering through so much more. That's when we start building this relationship between these two, which is a cute moment, but I'm just worried about how much further we're going to be able to go with that. Kaji being a little bit more serious here with Asuka. I also love when she opened it and like the smile and art that she had, like the face that she had to put on before she ends up coming in. Ends up reading things that she doesn't want to. She's not very happy about it, which we're also making the assumption comes directly from her not liking him too much, would just be my guess, because of all the teasing that he kind of does and the things that he says and the names that he's called her and stuff in the past. Would only be my assumption. The fact that we got this thing, like, look at that. And tell me that's not a fucking straight up cross and they're not trying to symbolize a whole bunch of things. Like, all right, yeah, we'll see. We'll see about all that. I thought this was Adam because we had him posted up like this before, but I guess that's not the case. And this is the unit that we're transporting over. They're just leaving it out. They don't even care at all. It's getting the rain all over it. We'll get a way better look though, probably next time when it actually gets activated. Toji just in his feels as he sinks the basket. Until next time. Definitely a weird one, but definitely feels necessary for progression going forward. And it does a good job at showing character progression over time too. You know, Rei seeing a little bit, definitely seeing growth within her, definitely seeing growth within somebody like Shinji, and seeing growth or just at least development within the relationship between Risco and Asuka, Misato, which is really interesting too. And that tension is something that I think is nice that we're slowly building up as time kind of comes. And the sternness almost that we're getting at Misato more and more each episode too, as she becomes more and more aware of a lot of the things that are actually going on and concerned with what they all could possibly mean, which is pretty dope. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you liked it all, like and subscribe. Doing a lot to me. Feel free to check out the videos on the channel. Comments of this episode or series. I'll be back for 18 very soon. I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.